Welcome back. As a real estate agent here in Ocala, I work with a whole lot of people moving here from out of state. And one thing that I've noticed is that a lot of people have questions about the construction methods used to build our homes here. So today we're going to talk a little bit about home construction. Now there are two main types of homes that you'll find here in Ocala, and those two are wood frame and concrete block with stucco, or CBS for short. So what are the biggest differences between concrete block and wood frame construction, and which one's better? Or is one actually better? Well, stick around and find out. Hi there, I'm Stephanie Frost, and I'm a real estate agent here in Ocala, Florida. And I'm here to talk about all things real estate in the Ocala and Marion County, Florida area. So, concrete block and stucco or wood frame? Which one is better? Well, I think first and foremost on most people's minds when they think about concrete block construction versus wood frame here in Florida is about hurricane resistance or wind resistance. Concrete block just sounds like it would be so much sturdier and safer, doesn't it? But the reality is both methods have to meet all current building codes, which require the structure to withstand the same wind speeds. So technically speaking, they're actually pretty equal in that respect. And oddly enough, what type of construction you find in Florida varies by what part of Florida you're in. Farther north of Marion County, you're way more likely to see wood frame construction than you are here in Ocala and farther south. Here, most of our builders use concrete block to build their homes, except for two-story homes. Two-story homes are almost always a mix of the two types of construction, with concrete block on the bottom and wood frame up top. Now, both types of home are going to be built on a concrete slab and then anchored to that slab from top to bottom. With concrete, they use rebar running through the blocks, and wood frame gets anchored using screws, bolts, and metal ties. So pretty much similar there, and again, they both have to pass muster with the same building codes for safety. One reason that you might see more frame construction the farther you head north is that a wood frame home usually allows for better insulation in the walls, since a builder uses 2x4s or even 2x6s to frame exterior walls, and that allows for a lot of space for insulation. Concrete block, on the other hand, uses smaller wood furring strips for attaching drywall to the interior of the concrete block, so generally speaking, the R value is going to be less. But concrete block does have more thermal mass than wood frame, which means that it's going to absorb more heat during the day and then release it again at night, so the inside temperature tends to stay at a more even keel. And both types of constructions are about equal when it comes to attic space, so both can have just as much insulation up there as you're willing to pay for. Now, one big advantage that concrete block does have over wood frame is the fact that it's not combustible. Turns out there's a reason that we build our fire pits out of concrete blocks and not out of wood scraps. Yeah, the interior walls of a concrete block home are usually all wood frame, but it's going to be a whole lot tougher to burn it down just the same. Don't believe me? Well, if anybody ought to know, it's an insurance company, and they will usually charge less for a policy on a concrete block home than they do on a wood frame one. Coincidence? I think not. Now, another worry people have is about termites and wood rot in general. After all, this is Florida. And let's face it, we got a lot of bugs, including carpenter ants and termites. And it's fairly humid most of the time, so it's a pretty valid concern. Well, clearly termites are not going to be munching down on your concrete blocks, and moisture isn't nearly as damaging to block walls as it is to wood ones. So concrete block does have a definite advantage. But to be perfectly fair, most builders building any type of home treat the soil or the bottom several feet of the framing wood, or even both, before they start construction. And a whole lot of them install some sort of termite protection into the home as well, so that helps a lot too. And even a block home does have some wood involved, both the interior walls and to attach the drywall to, so it's not like they're wood-free either. So what about noise? Well, concrete block is usually considered to be more noise-canceling than wood frame, but a whole lot's going to depend on the type of windows you have and if any additional type of sound barrier is used in the home's construction. Now overall, a concrete block home is going to be sturdier and require less maintenance than a wood frame home. Concrete lasts practically forever, and so can wood if you maintain it. But if not, well, let's just say it won't. Last forever, I mean. Now, a wood frame home is going to be easier and cheaper to remodel if you're thinking about making any sort of renovations to your new home. So take that into account if you have any plans to change things up in the future. Now, one reason that some builders prefer frame to concrete block is that wood frame construction offers more flexibility in the finished look of a home. Concrete block is great for simple home designs and square, boxy shapes. But if you want to get a curve in a wall or some fancy angle, you can do it a lot easier with frame construction. But it's just a little harder and more expensive to do with concrete block. And speaking of more expensive, a wood frame home costs less to build than a concrete block one does. So if you simply have to have a larger size home and you're on a tight budget, you can get a little more bang for your buck with wood frame construction. And actually a little more interior space, but I'm not sure you'd really notice it. Home size is measured using the exterior dimensions, not interior ones. And since concrete block is thicker than wood framing, you actually gain just a couple inches inside with wood frame. Now, with all of that said, both types of home construction are attractive, sturdy, and they both have to meet the same building codes, and obviously both have their own pros and cons. Which one you want to live in is totally up to you. I just hope that I've answered some of the questions that you've got about them. And they are not the only types of home construction available either. They're just the most common and the most affordable of the available options. So if you have any other questions about home construction or buying your next home here in Ocala, get in touch. Happy to help. And until next time, take care.